Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I'm your host, Commander Claw. I'm here to bring you 5 cards that work well for Cecil Dark Knight / Cecil Redeemed Paladin. Yes, I'm going to bring you a commander that at first it was a little confusing. It seemed kind of lackluster and like the build. But after I started putting this video together, I was like, I think it kind of makes a fun Night Tribal commander. I never made a Night Tribal commander before. So these cards, not all of them will be on EDH Rec on that type of recommendation. It's going to be, some of this stuff is Night Tribal. And you'll kind of see what I'm trying to offer for your deck building process too. So I'm actually really excited for this commander because at first I thought it was underwhelming, but once you start researching, you're kind of like, ooh, this could be a little juicy commander. He's aggro, aggro Orzhov. That's I think that is a different archetype that is not talked about often. And I think this commander is that. Aggro Orzhov. So let's talk about Cecil Dark Knight. So for 1 black mana, you get a 2/3 legendary creature human knight with Death Touch. He has Darkness. Whenever Cecil deals damage, you lose that much life. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, untap Cecil and transform it. So right there is like, what am I going to do with this? This is disappointing. So whenever you deal damage, either through combat or some type of trick where Cecil does non-combat damage, you lose that much life. So right now, we're going to play with an easy scenario. You're going to do 2 damage to your opponent for 2 damage to your opponent, you lose 2 life. That's what's going to happen, right? Then your life total will be less than 40. It'll be 38, and you get to transform Cecil. Cool. Now, what is stopping? So I guess what I want to talk about more is the situation you put your opponent in. Anytime you have a creature with Death Touch, it's kind of this rattlesnake scenario going on. Ooh, do I block and lose my creature? And sometimes players don't mind doing that. Or do I just take the 2 damage? But if they take the 2 damage, this happens, and we're going to transform Cecil. So Cecil transforms into Redeemed Paladin, and he'll have the color pip white. And he says he is a 4/4 body, legendary human knight with lifelink. He has Protect. Whenever Cecil attacks, other attacking creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. So with this being said, you got a creature that you probably possibly casted on turn 1. It transformed on turn 2, and you have a 4/4 body with lifelink. That is pretty devastating on turn 3, going attacking a player. And that's 4 commander damage that we're probably swinging with. So right then and there, I'm thinking Voltron, I'm thinking equipments, but its ability Protect says whenever Cecil attacks, other attacking creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. So I want to put other creatures out on the battlefield for cheap, lower CMC, and make my board state wide. Then once I make it wide, I'm going to buff those creatures' power. So I can literally overrun my opponents and protect them during combat. That's what my initial thought was. So let's talk about some equipments that work well with Cecil. So the reason why I'm recommending equipments first, because I like to put pressure on my opponents. If I cast my commander this early, I want to make my opponents ask, do I want to remove this creature right now? If the answer is yes, that tells me a lot. They don't want me to get ahead. They don't want me to have some kind of confidence and advantage going around the board. Or maybe they just can't block the creature. It doesn't matter. If they have a creature that blocks, you're gaining 4 life. This is also a life gain deck during combat. So let's beef up its power. Sword of Vengeance, it's a staple for 3 mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, has first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Equip 3. Cool. We swing in with a 6/4 with first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. That's pretty beefy. That's Cecil right there. And remember, it has lifelink, so you will gain 6 life. Next up, we got Pact Weapon for 4 mana, 3 and a black, artifact equipment. As long as Pact Weapon is attached to a creature, you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. That is like the Platinum Angel effect. So whenever you go to -5 life from some type of non-combat damage or combat damage, you don't lose the game as long as this card is attached to a creature. It's really good when it's attached to an indestructible creature. Then Pact Weapon says, whenever equipped creature attacks, draw a card and reveal it. The creature gets +X until end of turn, and you lose X life, where X is that card's mana value. Equip, discard a card. So this is a good card because we get to draw a card. And if it's a high CMC, like a 6 CMC card, Cecil can become a 10/10. And you do lose 6 life. But it's a 10/10 with lifelink, remember? So you get +4. Just do the math. And equip is just discard a card. That's nothing. That's nothing. You better have cards in your hand. And this gives you card. Yeah. Moving on to token generators. So you're going to have options for token generators, and these creatures and artifacts spit out tokens quickly. This new one is from uh, Tarkir Dragonstorm, the Anok, right? It's a dog warrior for 1 and a white, 2/2 body. It says whenever you attack with this creature and or your commander, for each opponent, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking that player. Sacrifice this creature. Creature tokens you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Cool. So you're making, if you got 3 opponents, when you attack one, you're making 3 1/1 red goblins. That's an incredible rate, super efficient, and it only costs 2 mana. 2 mana. Then let's say a turn happens where you have a player plays a board wipe and it says destroy all creatures, or maybe a blasphemous act. You can sacrifice your dog here, and creature tokens you control gain indestructible until end of turn. And that goes for any creature token. You're going to be making creature tokens. On the far right hand side, we have Adeline. Y'all know what she does. She's star power, toughness 4, vigilance. Her power is equal to the number of creatures you control. And when you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 white creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Same thing, same thing. Look how low CMC these spells are. In the middle, Aduran Flame of the West for 3. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+1. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, create 2 tap 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. If that creature is legendary, which Cecil is, create 2 of those tokens that are tapped and attacking. Equip 2. You should be building an army and swinging out at your opponents. You have more than enough creature base to make Cecil and token creatures viable in this deck. And remember, when Cecil attacks, those creatures that are attacking with it are indestructible. So I have to talk about Night Tribal. I think it's pretty cool. I never played Night Tribal before, but I did some research on these cards. Y'all let me know in the comment section below what cards work with Cecil and what night cards you suggest. I think these 3 are super fire. Super fire. Let's talk about the Circle of Loyalty. It is a legendary artifact for 4 and 2 white. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each knight you control. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, which is Cecil, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. So you're making essentially a 3/3 when you cast Cecil with vigilance. A knight creature with vigilance, and it's a token. And when you attack with Cecil and your tokens, they are indestructible. Oh, guess what else the Circle of Loyalty does? Tap 4, 3 and a white, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. You're just making 3/3 white knight creatures with vigilance. You see here, you're just building an army. Knight's Charge right here in the middle. It's an enchantment. Whenever a knight you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You're going to be attacking with this deck. This is like an aggro Orzhov deck. All these tokens that you're making, you have the ability to add black to it, to have sacrifice and death triggers, to drain life from your opponents. Yeah. So for 6 mana, actually 8 mana, 6 white and a black, sacrifice Knight's Charge. Return all night creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's amazing. It's just ready to go. Ready to go to reanimate all your night creature tokens. This card is even better because there's a card called Maskwood Nexus that makes creature types of all creatures, makes creatures of into all creature types. So let's say you have some kind of different creature type in your graveyard, like an angel. You could bring him back if Masquerade Nexus is on the battlefield and you activate Nice Charge ability. Easy. Next up, we got Sidar Jabari of Zhalfir. I feel like I said that right. That sounded pretty fire. For Esper and a 1. 4/3 body, human knight, Eminescence. Whenever you attack with one or more knights, Cecil is a knight. If Jabari is in the command zone or on the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. So, yeah. You just attack with your knights, you get to loot. Then he has flying and first strike. Okay. Then it says whenever Jabari deals combat damage to a player, return target knight creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Awesome. Enough said. On to my favorite cards. So we got to protect our commander. We got to protect him because the first game you play with them, your opponent's going to see it. They're going to let you rock with it. They're going to let you do your thing. They're going to see. But once you start slapping all those tokens out there on the battlefield quickly, and 2 attack turns, you made a total of 6 tokens, they're not going to let that happen. They're not going to let this fly anymore. So we got Bastion Protector, right? He says 3/3 body, human soldier, commanders you control get +2/+2 and have indestructible. Essentially, what we're making here is, hey, my opponents have to exile my commander. If you do not own an exile in your hand, you will not stop my commander. Cool. Next up, we got Agent of the Shadow Thieves. For 1 and a black, legendary enchantment, background. Commander creatures you own have. Whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, it gains Death Touch, and indestructible until end of turn. This is a great card for low CMC, right? So we can cast Cecil early, maybe play this turn 2, flip over Cecil on turn 3. He attacks somebody. They don't have more opponent than all the other players. Cecil becomes a 5/5 with lifelink, death touch, and indestructible on his attack phase. Come on, man. Sneaky good card. Next up, we have Bleeding Effect. I feel like this is a winner. I've never seen this card until I started researching. This is from Assassin's Creed. For 2 white and a black, an enchantment that says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control gain flying until end of turn if a creature is in your graveyard and has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. My God. What else? What else do you want? What else do you want? Cecil can be just a powerful Orzhov aggro commander, and you can have creatures that have channel or flashback, and you have just somehow, some way discarded that card, and that card has a bunch of keywords. That creature has a bunch of keywords in your graveyard, and you have Bleeding Effect out on the battlefield, and all your creatures that you're attacking with a wide board state are like 4/4s with flying, death touch, and indestructible and lifelink. Like, this goes insane. 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 So thank you for watching this video on Cecil the Dark Knight and Cecil the Paladin. I think it's actually a very unique commander, and I don't think it'll be talked about enough. I know you're probably going to go on EDH Rec and see those recommendations of cards that pretty much drain your life. But why do that? This is an Orzhov aggro commander. If I'm playing it, I'm building it like this. I am playing him on turn 1, max turn 2. He's going to transform on turn 3, turn 4, because opponent either took 2 damage, and I made him, either they took 2 damage, or I made him indestructible, and a creature took 2 damage, so that way Cecil doesn't die. He's going to flip. He's going to be a 4/4 lifelink. I'm going to put an enchantment, artifact equipment, or another creature that makes more tokens that are tapped and attacking. Then I'm going to attack with Cecil Paladin, and all my creatures get indestructible, and I'm just going to overrun my opponent's board. Easy, easy. Repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse. Thank you for watching this episode. I'm your host, Commander Claw. Peace.